Hello, today I'll be testing this, the new Sonos Arc. It's Sonos's first soundbar with Dolby Atmos support. Now this test is a little later than I'd originally hoped for. I apologise for that, and it's for reasons which I'll go into briefly later. Now, it's wider, considerably wider, about 25 centimetres wider in fact than the play bar it replaces. That does leave more room for speakers inside. There are 11 drivers in all, including 2 sideways facing speakers, there are upward facing speakers and also angled tweeters, all of which add to the Atmos effect. Now, setup, at least initially, was very straightforward. There are very few connections on the Arc. Mains power, Ethernet, in case your Wi-Fi isn't good enough, and HDMI, which you use to connect to your TV's HDMI ARC socket or audio return channel. It supports both ARC and the newer enhanced EARC as well. If your TV's too old to have ARC and you just have optical out, there's an adapter in the box which you can use, but then you lose all the Dolby Atmos effects. Now, you set up through Sonos's new S2 app, which includes the rather fun True Play feature, which has you wandering around the room with your phone while odd sounds come out of the bar, and it uses it to calibrate the profile of your room so you get better sound. You do have to have an iOS device to do that though. Once up and running, you can definitely tell the advantages of Atmos, those very accurate positioning of the audio objects, whatever they are. A whooshing helicopter or wind sound, most obviously, but also more subtle things as well, like in a drama you can hear the door opening way to your right, say, as the character then enters frame from the right. Even on Sky's Portrait Artist of the Year, some of which are in Atmos, you can hear the accurately positioned sounds of pencils scratching. It really is quite a subtle effect as well. Very much a 180-degree effect in my room. I didn't get any sound coming from behind me, but nevertheless you can add extra speakers if you wish to create a surround sound system from the Sonos range. You can also add a sub to give extra bass. The bass in itself is very good. I found it was even better when I added a sub, so I definitely want to do that, though that is quite an expensive option. Works well with Atmos. It also works well on actually ordinary stereo and Dolby 5.1. It still gives an extremely impressive soundscape, and also the speech comes through very, very strongly, which is often weak on soundbars. It's very refreshing to hear it so competently dealt with by the Arc. All very impressive then, but there are a number of significant problems. First of all, the way the Arc's connected to the TV means that all the sound it receives has to go through the TV, and not all TVs support Dolby Atmos pass-through. I tried a Sony that's a few years old, that certainly didn't, it just down converted everything to stereo. I also tried 2 new TVs, admittedly at the lower and mid-range of the market, they didn't support it either. I had to wait, hence the delay, to get my hands on this rather superb LG 8K OLED TV, which does support Dolby Atmos pass-through, so I was able to enjoy the full experience, albeit after quite a bit of fiddling around in the settings. Now, while we're on the subject of compatibility, it's worth noting that there are 2 forms of Dolby Atmos, and again there are problems with which TVs are compatible with both and which are compatible with only the lower, more compressed form of it, which is used mainly in streaming and for broadcast. There's also an uncompressed version which uses Dolby True HD that's commonly found, for example, on Blu-rays. And to get that, you also need to have a compatible TV. Fortunately, the LG is compatible with both, so I was able to compare the compressed and uncompressed versions. I imagine, at least, that I prefer the uncompressed version. Definitely a more precise placing of sound, more dynamism going on. Now, you might say, well, does that really matter, that all those compatibility issues? I mean, I can just enjoy the Arc with stereo or 5.1, and it's very, very good at that too. But there was another problem I encountered on external HDMI sources, particularly my Sky Q box, that of eternally variable lip sync. The sound was either ahead of or behind the pictures, and it would almost change as you changed channel. So it's very difficult, even if you could compensate for it, to actually achieve that compensation. Now, I spoke to Sonos support. They say it's a bit of a known issue. They suggested a few tweaks to the settings, but it didn't seem to have much effect for me. And that sync problem disappeared once I listened to the broadcast through the TV's own speakers, which I frequently had to do, which kind of ruins the point of having a soundbar. At heart, I think the Arc is an excellent product, and making the television the focus of the home audio system, wiring everything through that, is the way to go. However, I think they need to sort that sync issue out and also make it clear which TVs are supported and what settings you need to use before I can give it an absolutely wholehearted, unequivocal recommendation.